Dana White just confirmed that the UFC already has backup plans in place for practically every possible issue surrounding the upcoming White House event. With the historic card expected to be held in an open-air setup, fans have been questioning how the UFC plans to handle weather conditions and other logistical problems, and Dana says they've already thought through all of it. According to White, the biggest concern is lightning, since the venue will not have a roof. He emphasized that the UFC already has solutions prepared and contingency plans ready if storms or lightning become an issue on fight night. Another surprisingly big topic discussed was the amount of gnats and moths in the area surrounding the venue. Dana acknowledged that insects could absolutely become a factor under the lights during the event, especially at night, but once again insisted the UFC is already working on ways to minimize the problem and make sure it doesn't impact the fights or broadcast experience.
We have to worry about the weather, right? How cold is it? Is it too hot? Is it too muggy? Does it rain? The only thing that can really crush us is lightning. You know, everybody, you all have kids that have played soccer or whatever. As soon as lightning hits, shut it down. It's a wrap. Everybody's got to go hide, and then you can't go. So if lightning happens that night, we'll wait out the lightning until it goes away, and we'll do the show a little bit later or however that plays out. Hopefully none of that shit happens. The other problem that I always think about, especially on the East Coast, bugs. So the amount of gnats that were flying around, I'm like, holy shit. As soon as I got on the plane, I called my head of production and said, yeah, let me tell you about the gnat situation tonight.
After a big win over Costa, Arnold Allen wasted no time calling out Yair Rodriguez. Allen said there's still unfinished business between them and pointed out that the UFC has already tried to book this fight multiple times in the past, but it never fully came together. Meanwhile, Alexander Volkanovski has also been talking about his next challenge, and he made it clear he wants Movsar Evloev. Volk explained that he wants to avenge his loss to Islam Makhachev, pointing out that Dagestani and Chechen wrestling styles have become extremely effective in the UFC, and many fighters still struggle to deal with that kind of pressure. That said, it's important to note that Movsar Evloev is not Dagestani or Chechen, but Ingush. His fighting style, however, closely mirrors the dominant wrestling approach commonly seen from Dagestani and Chechen fighters in the UFC. With Allen chasing Yair and Volkanovski targeting Evloev, the featherweight division is clearly heating up again, with multiple high-level stylistic matchups being pushed forward at the same time, including a potential Aljamain Sterling versus Lerone Murphy matchup. Okay, let's dive into what Allen had to say.
So you've got Movsar's probably going to fight Volk. Diego Lopez. You know he's going to fight against the White House. You got Aljo.
Yeah, I think make him fight Lerone and I'll fight Yair, just because we've got history.
Yeah. Why have you got history with Yair?
Just because we've been trying to make us fight for a while now, and it just never comes out. Like, first time I was injured, they offered me the fight, I was out injured. Then they try to remake it. He was out. He was injured. Just like it's got to happen.
So let's make this happen.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna fight Yair Rodriguez. You gotta talk some shit, Arnold. That's how you get these big fights. Make a wild, outrageous statement about Yair Rodriguez that clearly isn't true.
You put a fucking AI figure there, just how I said it.
Will you not talk any shit? Will you not say, listen, I'll beat the shit out of this guy?
But that's just not me. I don't know.
No, I know.
Jon Anik and Kenny Florian recently discussed the shift from Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler to McGregor versus Max Holloway, and both agreed it actually makes the matchup more meaningful from a sporting perspective. Instead of a pure comeback showcase fight, McGregor now returns against a former rival with real history, adding more weight and context to his return at UFC 329 on July 11th. Conor is set to have the third longest layoff in UFC history when he steps back into the octagon, having last competed at UFC 264 in 2021, meaning his return will come exactly 5 years after his last fight. Jorge Masvidal also weighed in on the matchup, pointing to lifestyle as a key factor that could decide how the fight plays out. He highlighted the contrast between the two fighters, noting that McGregor's well-documented party lifestyle is very different from Holloway's disciplined approach. According to Masvidal, Holloway lives a simple routine centered around training, family, and staying active in the gym, with no signs of the chaotic lifestyle often associated with Conor. Masvidal believes that difference could be decisive, especially after such a long layoff. All right, let's dive into what Anik had to say.
The ship had sailed on McGregor versus Chandler, right? They're trying to put forth a more consequential fight than that.
Yes.
Now,
I'm so
Conor,
glad they're doing that, by the way.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Now, Conor would plausibly be favored against Michael Chandler. Here, he's a plus 310 underdog. I think what Kenny and I are just talking about, and this is not me shilling.
Yeah.
We believe there's a competitive spirit there that is leading the dance when it comes to his return. And even if his own dreams about what this return could be maybe sound aspirational to us, if he thinks about like Islam Makhachev or something, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that he performs very well against Max and potentially gets a knockout. And I don't think he should be plus 310. So I don't know, but you know, your lack of enthusiasm, I'm not going to let it necessarily curb mine, but I don't know.
Khamzat Chimaev's team just made a huge announcement. According to Aslanbek Badaev, who is part of Chimaev's team and cornered him in his fight against Sean Strickland, Khamzat is taking on Anthony Fluffy Hernandez next. With Strickland dealing with injuries and a potential rematch likely requiring a long wait, the decision was made to keep Chimaev competing rather than sitting out for an extended period. The long-term light heavyweight plans are still very much alive, but the immediate priority is to get back on track at 185 pounds and re-establish himself at the top of the division. Inside the camp, both Armand Sarukian and members of Chimaev's team have emphasized that the loss to Strickland won't derail anything long-term, and that they're already studying the mistakes from that fight with the intention of fixing them and returning stronger. This also reshapes the wider light heavyweight picture. A potential matchup with Paulo Costa at 205 is now likely on hold, possibly even indefinitely, especially with Carlos Ulberg expected to return from injury within a year. That timeline opens up a different set of contenders and could shift how the division develops while Chimaev focuses back at middleweight.
Хамзат, борз, не забываем об этом. Честно, он очень особенный боец. И вокруг него его аура, которая многие считают сейчас спадет, я с ними не согласен. Он просто вернется, оторвет кому-нибудь голову и будет биться за пояс. Я не верю, что ему сразу дадут титульный бой. Я считаю, что он должен провести один поединок. Он заслуживал и сразу немедленного реванша. Но учитывая проблемы со здоровьем у Стрикланда, я думаю, затянется это все. Хамзат пока может разобраться с Эрнандесом. Я считаю, что Хамзат свою работу сделает. Вот. Нужно делать выводы из тех ошибок, которые он допустил, а ему они будут виднее, чем нам. Всегда, вы заметили, когда кто-то проигрывает, всегда вот специалисты скатываются к тому, что вот у него нет тренера, ему нужно это сделать, ему то нужно сделать. Мы никогда не знаем наверняка, что там внутри происходит. А если бы победу отдали Хамзату, мы бы все говорили, какой классный тренер Коловита, какой классный секундант Арман Сарукян, и как все круто было. Правильно?
Paulo Costa has issued a strong warning to Khamzat Chimaev about the possibility of moving up to light heavyweight, calling it a tragic decision for him if it ever happens. The comments came after Costa picked up a notable knockout win in his light heavyweight debut, with his physicality and power at the new weight class immediately becoming a talking point. Responding to ongoing rumors that Chimaev would move up to 205 if he had won against Strickland, Costa made it clear he believes the move would backfire badly. Costa said he actually wants Chimaev to come up to 205, but only because he believes it will go badly for him. He described himself as a completely different fighter at light heavyweight, saying he doesn't have to cut any muscle or sacrifice strength the way he did at middleweight, and claimed that he feels like a much more dangerous version of himself. He doubled down on the idea that the matchup would be tragic for Chimaev due to the size and power difference. Costa and Chimaev already have history, with a fight between them previously being scheduled before falling apart at UFC 294. Since then, Costa has continued to target Chimaev publicly, and this latest message keeps that rivalry alive even as both fighters operate in different divisions. Now let's roll some footage of Paulo Costa sparring at light heavyweight.
Isso, atento. Boa, Paulo. Isso.
That's it from MMA Psycho. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for daily MMA news.